Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Music Marketing TV. I'm Dan D, and thanks for tuning in to Making Beats Part 4. In this episode, I'm going to show you guys how to mix the instruments like Lush synthesizer, you got the Cyclop bassline synthesizer, and yeah, we're going to make sure they sound good, they sound clean, and yes, let's get on with it. Here we go. With Lush first. So I have a filter here, and this is just mainly for transitional and structural purposes, but EQ is where it's really at. Now I could take off this EQ and it sounds amazing. It sounds so balanced, sounds so nice, but I can't have it on because it will interfere with a whole bunch of kicks and bass lines like the one that you hear now. So what I have to do is I have to cut it off slightly. Okay, they're still there, but you know, slightly bring it down for the low end stuff. Just keep the mid range, drop down this section right here. This section is you hear it when we start to bring up the song a bit more. Right? So you want to drop that down a bit, that part. Okay, we're bringing up number 3. Number 3 is at about 6,000. That's just to give it more air, make it sound clean, clear. And yeah, so the filter is really stopping that sound right now, but you're gonna hear it in a second. Right? 7 is so we don't interfere with the hi-hats when this is playing. Just want to keep this section right here really clean. Alright? So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Again, you don't really want to boost things over 0, like 6 or 12. You start to change the sound entirely. You want to keep this natural. You want to keep the synthesizer very natural. So instead of boosting it, just start pushing down the stuff you don't need. All right, it's just a lot easier. It's more natural. I learned this on an SSL. Sounds better that way. You know, if you start boosting things, it's not the same sound anymore. You know. So you want to keep the same sound. All right, let's move on to the bass line here. This Foskeon D16 bass line. I'm gonna bring it step length cutoff. Okay, I'm gonna take off the cutoff so we can really hear this. Bring up Foskeon real quick. I'm gonna leave it like that. Oh, I guess it's gonna have to. Alright, let me just loop it then. Sorry guys. I'm just gonna loop this section. Let it go. Hopefully it doesn't change the cutoff. Yes, good. We leave the Foskeon like that. Take off Lush so we can really hear this. So I have an EQ setup and sound godizer setup on this, and listen to the EQ. So you can see here I have lots of the deep end zone boosted up, cut off the mid, cut off the highs, left the pretty much the resonance up there so you get that acid effect, right? If I bring it back naturally, really mid-rangey, which is okay, but doesn't work with my setup at the moment, so I had to bring in the low end stuff and leave the resonance high up. So since I have this setup, you know, I EQ'd it, so I have this wave happening. I wanted to exaggerate it a little bit more with sound godizer. So now you're really hearing a lot of this section right there. Alright, so that's my setup for the Lush and Foskeon. Together they sound awesome, especially with a sub. Cool, let's move on. I'm going to deal with the bass line now. This is really tricky, guys. So tricky that I should just leave it alone. Alright? But let's see what we have so far. Here's my combine. So what I have on this is pretty much this bat layout. I mean, if you watched my episode in number 3, you can see why I did this. But essentially, I EQ'd this bass line because of a kick, because they're the only two things that are messing around with each other. Nonetheless, because there are 5 instances of this synthesizer, it's hard to really control the tone of this bass line without, you know, having to take a lot of time to really do this. So instead, you just throw all the Cyclops together into one, and you EQ them as a whole. All right. So it's a bass line. I had to bring up the bass a little bit. This low end section about 100 hertz. And I was like, okay, I don't know what else to do. Let me bring up the mids as well, and then the highs to clean it up. That's the best thing I could think of at the moment. If you have a lot of time to figure it out, EQ each bass line, each instance, each synthesizer. All right. Bring the best out of each one out, and then work on it like that. All right. But if you just want something real quick, real easy to, and I guess lazy, but still works, do it like this. Think of 3 things, boost them up, and bam, you got it. All right. I mean, it does still sound great. If I take it off, I mean, it still sounds great. Alright, so then I got a limiter in here to boost everything. Alright, compressor and limiter combo. And yeah, I pretty much boosted it up and made sure the low stuff is higher. You can see it like right there. I boosted that up a bit and make sure everything's level. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this episode. Real short and quick. It's really a balanced mix episode for the synthesizers. Make sure everything sounds clean and clear again, as usual. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave one below. I'll answer any of your mixing questions. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace!